Look at these daddies.
I'm Jessica Lugo, aka Bake Me Pretty. And some of you might know me from hanging out with Martha Stewart on Bakeaway Camp. But on this show, we're making store-bought guilty pleasures from scratch.
I love Twix. I was never a big chocolate fan growing up, but my taste buds have changed. Now the big question is, are you a right Twix or left Twix? I'm an any girl kind of Twix. So of course, ooh, it doesn't have that snap that I was hoping for, but it definitely does have the caramel sauce. It's 3 layers. Pretty simple. It's a shortbread cookie, caramel, and milk chocolate. I'm ready to tackle this guy, but I think it's gonna be fairly easy. So since Twix has layers to this, we are going to start in the bottom. So what you're gonna need is 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2/3 cup of butter. So we just wanna chop up this butter into little cubes. Nothing fancy. Because what we're gonna wanna do is make somewhat like a cookie crumble. Now that I have all the butter diced into pieces, I'm gonna take a 9x9 pan and I'm going to spray it with butter spray just so that it's greased up and nothing sticks to the sides. I'm gonna add my sugar to my flour and my salt. And now we're going to add in the diced butter. Here you can use a pastry cutter to blend it in, but I don't have one, so I'm just gonna use a fork. And we wanna make sure that all the butter, we're getting little clumps of it within the flour. So I have some of my butter here and it's mixed in, but I don't think it's mixed in well enough. So I'm just gonna get down and dirty and crumple it up even more into my flour. I just wanna get smaller pieces of butter. I think this is pretty good. And what we're gonna do is we're going to take this dough, we're gonna put it into our 9x9, and we're going to press it down. And now that our cookie dough is pressed into our 9x9 baking pan, we are going to throw it into the oven for 20 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we're gonna make the caramel sauce. This is the second layer of the Twix. So to make the caramel sauce, we need a pan over medium heat. You're going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of water. Give it a good whisk, and we're going to let it boil for about a minute. Now that you see that the sugar is dissolved within the water, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. Completely whisk in the butter with the sugar and the water. Now we're going to let this simmer at medium heat, but we want to watch this closely. If not, it will burn very quickly. And we want it to reach its auburn color. I'm just gonna keep whisking every few seconds. This way I can monitor the color. Now we got that nice dark caramel color, I'm gonna remove it from the heat. Now that it's off the burner, we're going to slowly add in 1/4 cup of heavy cream. When I say slowly, I mean just a little bit. If not, it will start to seize and harden up. Remember to keep whisking while you're adding the heavy cream. Look at this color, it is so pretty. The caramel sauce isn't completely cooled, which is fine, but it's not burning hot, which we don't need it to be. While I was making the caramel sauce, I was allowing the cookie sheet to completely cool down. I even tossed it in the fridge. Now we're ready for the second layer. All right, Twix. Tell me what you got. Look at that, look at that. All right, now that we have that second layer, I'm just gonna make sure to spread it all around. So now that we have the second layer on our Twix candy bar, I'm going to throw this in the freezer for about an hour. I want it to harden up in order to cut it out, and then we're gonna pour the milk chocolate. So now that we finished our 2 layers for our Twix candy bar, we have our cookie layer, we have our caramel layer, and it's been chilled for about an hour. Now we're gonna cut into it and get those Twix shapes that we know so well. Yes, look at that. It's beautiful. Put that off to the side. We're getting closer to that Twix candy bar. And now we're gonna melt 2 cups of milk chocolate in the microwave. You wanna do it at 1-minute intervals because if not, you'll burn the chocolate. So because it's hot, It only took about a minute to melt. I'm gonna mix it up and I'm gonna slowly add in my coconut oil. The coconut oil is gonna help thin out the chocolate. So now we are ready to pour our milk chocolate over our cookies. And to save me a bit of mess and cleanup, I put a parchment paper down. If you do not have a cookie rack, it's okay, you can do it right on the parchment paper. So I did my best trying to cover all around the Twix bar. It looks pretty messy, but I think it's gonna come out pretty darn good. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna put them in the fridge for about an hour, let them chill, and we're gonna be ready to snack down real soon. Look at these daddies, hey! I will say the texture is a tad different. With Twix, it snaps right off. This is more of a softer cookie, but I kind of like it. It tastes just like it.